NoBSSurvival's challenge that he's doing. I'm not quite where I'm supposed to be yet, but I got to the spot and I thought, I'll show you a few things. Around about here, we've got a couple of plants. I've picked this area on purpose. Okay, there's not a great deal around me if you look around. Alright, there's very little there at all. It's moorland. It proves to be an interesting video and an interesting challenge for me as well. There is a bit of woodland further down, and that's where I'm going to be, but there's not a great deal in there in terms of edibles or anything else, so I'm going to gather as much as I can from this environment and take it with me. But some of the plants we've got, if I show you some down here. Okay, this one right here. This plant produces a small black berry, which is very similar to a blackberry, but it has its differences. I've only ever found it up in the moorlands here. I found another plant which is very similar to it in woodland and in other areas, but I've only found this particular one in moorland land, like what I'm on just now. So that's one plant. When it's in flower or when it's in fruit, I can get the berries off of that and I can eat that. Okay, so that's one plant I can do. There's another one here. Let's just get a flower here. Sunlight's in the lens, I can't see what I'm pointing at. Here we go. Right, this one here. This one, the name completely escapes me, but again there's parts on this plant here that can be eaten. Let me turn that a bit so you can, there we go, you can see better now. Right, but the name completely escapes me, but when I remember again I'll put it up as a caption on the bottom of the thing itself so that you can see what it is. Okay, but again, another plant I can eat, another plant I can get some food from an environment that looks almost desolate. The heather here as well, I can use the flowers from the heather to make a very nice tea. I can also use the heather itself if I cut it, if I wanted to create some insulation for where I'm going to be sleeping. And that would give me a nice padding to the base. Keep me up off the ground and keep me an awful lot warmer. Pretty much everybody knows this plant. This one here, the daisy, common daisy. Okay, that can be eaten. You can use the leaves. They're very refreshing in a salad. They contain a lot of moisture. See if I can zoom in there for you. Okay, they contain a lot of moisture. They give you some nutrients and lots of other things as well. It's a very good plant to know and a good one to remember that it can actually be eaten. But that's a couple of plants round about. I'm going to pick some other ones. Let me get back onto camera here for you. Got the sun in my eyes now. No, hang on. Playing with the zoom and I forgot to put it off. There we go. Right. Well, that's some plants that I've got round about here. Okay. But the main reason that I stopped at this location is to show you what you are missing on the west coast of Scotland if you're not already here. Have a look at this view. Tell me what you think. Now, is that not just a phenomenal view? I mean, look at that. Sun's glistening down off of Arran just there in the background. That's Arran. Okay. And then you've got Little Cumbrae's island just in front of us, and then Greater Cumbria just behind that. And look at that view. And then right at the very back, right back there, you've got the Mull of Kintyre, or Kintyre. Look at that. Where I'm going to be sleeping for the night, don't know if you'll be able to make it out with the sunlight, but that woodland just down there, that's where I'm going to be for the night. Hi there. Just before I get myself started, something popped into my view and I just want to clarify whether this would be classed as a wild edible or not. So maybe you can tell me if it is. But would that be classed as a wild edible? I believe it's called a sheep. Plenty of meat on there. It came over to see me. It was almost inside the car. But If it's not classed as a wild edible, I'll find some more. If it is, I think that trumps everything. But hey, let's see if we can find some anyway. Here's another wild edible for you. It's the berries of the rowan tree, sometimes known as a mountain ash. These berries, they're very bitter, but they are edible as they are. However, the recommended way of eating them is make it into a jam, add some crab apple to it as well, sweeten it down a bit, and it tastes absolutely phenomenal. Have it in a sandwich, have it with meats, mainly red meats, anything at all, and it's absolutely great. However, as I say, they can be eaten as they are. And we just turn this round a bit and we grab a couple of them here now. So, the berries themselves, they are quite nice. You do have to take off the coating on the outside of it, and then just take a bite out. As I say, it is very bitter, but they do go with meats and things very well, and if you have it in small quantities, they are okay. But have it in small quantities. Hi there. Well, I've got to my campsite, flies are out, midges are out as well, sun's settling down. I've got about an hour and a half left of daylight, and I've started making up my shelter. Okay. I know we're allowed to have our tarpaulin, we're allowed to have a knife, we're allowed to have string, cordage, all that. I do have a knife, I've been using it. I'm also going to be using the ferro rod, but rather than using a tarpaulin, that's my shelter. Okay. I'll show you a little bit better. I want to come around this way with me. This is it just now, okay. I've got a lot of ferns down that side already. Got my entrance in here. And I've got some ferns down that side there just now. That's going to finish ferning it off down there. Finish it off down this side as well. Lay some more down at the bottom here. And then I'm going to get a fire set up just at the front here with a reflector pushing the heat into where I am. And all of this should hopefully keep me warm tonight. I don't have to worry about the rain, although I'm going to try and make it rainproof as well. I don't have to worry about that because it's not going to rain tonight. Temperature tonight's to drop down to about 9 degrees, I think it was, centigrade. So, shouldn't be too bad. I've got a wool blanket with me if I need it, but I'm hoping not to use it. I'm hoping to use the heat from the fire to keep me warm. Flies are out in force, and so are the midges, so excuse me a bit. Anyway, battery is low as well, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to film this periodically, let you see different stages of it, and get back to you when I've done a bit more. Okay? See you in a bit. Hi there. Light's really getting low now. You can see it there, it's just coming through the trees. So I'm really having to rush ahead here and try and get away from all these midges. I've made good progress with the shelter. What I've got is I've got the main shelter there. Okay, so you can see it running up there, and down there's the entrance, right there. And then it runs down the sides with ferns, and just forward of it I've got my reflector for the fire. That should keep me warm tonight. And then just down there I've got my fire pit. Okay, so that's where I'm going to be sleeping tonight. That's what's going to be keeping me nice and warm, nice and dry. As I say, hopefully doing without the tarpaulin, or the poncho rather. These midges are driving me absolutely mental. So far all I've used is the knife. That's it, nothing else. I've got a pot there, and I've got a stream just down there. I'm going to go and get some water later on, get myself a nice hot drink. Put some nettles in it, have some nettle tea. If I can find some nettles, there was some further out, we'll see if I can get that. And, well, excuse me, the midges are absolutely mental. That's basically what I'm doing so far. I'll hopefully be able to do a bit more recording tomorrow morning when I've got a bit more light and more time to do it with. My apologies if you haven't got to see how the shelter's built properly. In fact, you haven't got to see it at all, but my apologies for that. Hopefully I'll be able to explain it a bit better tomorrow. I'll have to deconstruct it tomorrow because I'm leaving. I don't like leaving shelters built, so I'll show you how it was done as I'm deconstructing it, if that helps. But for just now, I'm going to try and get away from all these midges, and I'll see you later on. Hiya. Light's dying even further. Let me get a torch here. Okay. I've got my firewood sorted out. I'm going to get my fire started. Got a torch down on where I'm going. I'm going to show you exactly what I'm doing. Unfortunately, you won't be able to see me in the camera though, you just hear my voice and showing you what I'm doing on it. Okay, so let's get this sorted out. Let's show you what I'm up to. Let's make sure you can see. Where are we? This is where we're going to have the fire. Okay, so like I say, I've got my birch bark here. It's all ready. I've gathered that up. I've got some twigs here as well, so they're all ready to go in. I've got my next lot of firewood sitting to the side of it, and my next lot again sitting over behind the camera. So time to get the ferro rod out and give this thing a strike. Here's my ferro rod, and let's get this thing started up. Okay. That's the thing with this. Sometimes you get it first off, other times you've got to keep trying and trying and trying. But perseverance pays off. Now, let's not let it go out. There we go. We have fire. It all sticks on there to burn. The reflector might be a little bit close. Hello, morning. Well, sorry, but I've had to break camp early this morning. I broke camp about 4 o'clock, but it was still dark. Midges just got really bad and I had to break camp for that, so I'm afraid I didn't manage to sleep the entire night through, but I was out here till the very early hours of the morning. Midges are still pretty bad, but they're not as bad as they were then. Where I was, just show you in the camera, I was just over there. There's some trees in the background, I was in those trees. Midges are just terrible just now, so my lesson learned, don't forget the midgie net. Definitely don't forget the midgie net. As you can see, I mean, you've still got the view of the side there, which when I go up, you don't have the view there just now, when I go up a little bit further you'll be able to see the view again and see what's coming in. Last night the sun was coming from that side. Just now, don't know if you can see it or not, but the sun's right up the other side of me there now. So just a bit of credibility that I've been here the entire night. But I'm going to try and walk a bit and get away from these midges. If I can find a nice quiet spot, what I'll do is I'll take the backpack off and show you the kit I've got, like I said I would last night, and hopefully we'll be able to get all that stuff sorted out. Wild edibles, I was going to show you something, I was going to eat some today, but I got talking to the guy who owns the land here this morning. Unfortunately I can't eat anything that's on this land. The reason for it is about a day, 2 days ago, the farmer air sprayed all this area, so it's all covered in fertiliser. I can't eat it for that reason, so I'll show you the plants I would eat. We'll talk a bit about them, but as I say, I can't eat them. Oh well, back again for a bit. Instead of talking a bit about some wild plants and things like that, so I found one down here which is one of my favourites for eating, also for making drinks and tea from when I'm out. It's readily available almost everywhere in Britain, and probably all over the world as well. But it's this plant just down here. Here's a wild edible for you. This is stinging. This is here stinging nettle. It contains hairs which are kind of almost like a silica based hair, and the hairs run up the way like that in angles. So if you want to grab it at the bottom, pinch it and squeeze, or pinch and move up at the same time, and it won't sting you. Now the leaves make a great tea. You can also roast them, you can cook them with spinach. It's one of the few plants that is easily identifiable by its touch. It contains an acid called urtic acid. The acid is sometimes used in homeopathology, I think it is, where they slap areas where they've got pain on their body or whatever else with this stinging nettle to promote blood flow through sore areas to help with the healing process. Whether that works, I don't know, but people do it. As I say, the nettle itself, it grows pretty much anywhere there's been human activity. It's high in irons, it's got potassiums in it, it's got vitamins in it, it's got loads of minerals in it. It's one of the superfoods, and if you can have that, then you need little else. You will need other foods as well, but not quite as many as you would think. I crush the leaves up, add them to tea, or add them to water to make a tea. You can cook it down and eat the leaves like a spinach. It's really good in meals, things like that as well. The stem of it, you can use the stem when it's dried out as a cordage. Gives you a nice strong cordage when you've weaved it together. So it's a very, very useful plant, and as I say, it grows almost anywhere. So, but anyway, let me get back on it. That was just something that I found as I was walking around. One of the plants I would generally have, but I'm going to move away from here again because the midges are picking up again here. There's a nice ridge just at the top there. I'm going to head up towards that. It's not that far away, but the wind should be high enough that the midges don't want to come out and pester me. So, back to these in a second. In fact, come along with me. What we'll do, we'll head down here. Hopefully you can see me because the sun's directly behind me, so I'm hoping you can see me okay here. But as I'm walking along, I'll tell you a bit about why I went on to NoBSSurvival's channel in the first place. On YouTube I tend to search around for different things, just go randomly looking to see what other people are doing, see what's happening, see if I can pick something else up and learn something, or if I find someone's channel interesting in itself. And I happened to stumble across NoBSSurvival, and I think the one I seen first off was I think it was a desert island survival, but he went over, intended to go for 5 days, cut it short to 3 because the loneliness got to him, which is a commendable thing. I mean, being able to admit to that is good. And it's good you know your limits and things as well. We can all have as much knowledge and skills and kit as we can gather, but at the end of the day, what's up in here, how you feel, your emotions, that plays a huge part in how well you're going to be able to survive. Whether you can make the choices that need to be made, things like that. So I thought it was a really good video. I really enjoyed it, and as a result of that I subscribed to the channel. Now when I subscribe to somebody's channel, I start off with their first video and I work my way to the most recent. So since he posted that one up, I think I was one of the first few to actually view the video, I'm not sure. But since he posted that video up, I then watched through the rest of his channel, and I got to the video where he's put on this challenge. I looked at it and there wasn't very many people had entered, so I was heading out to these woods anyway. I was just going to do some camping in my hammock and take it from there, but I thought, I can take this challenge, I'm going out anyway, I can take minimal kit, see how little I can get away with, and enter into doing this. So that's why I'm here, that's why I'm doing this video. But if you're interested in knives, crocodile teeth, he likes his crocodile teeth, especially on his hat. But if you're interested in knives, crocodile teeth, or cooking out in the field, have a look at his channel, have a look through it all. Some really good stuff. It's nice and calm here. And yeah, if you have a look through that, then I'm sure you'll find that you'll enjoy the video, and if you do, feel free to subscribe to him. Like I say, really nice guy, and a weird sense of humour. But anyway, let me see what wild plants I can find up here, and I'm looking around at the same time as talking to you, just to see what I can see at the corner of my eyes. Not a great deal, but this area is midgie free. Let's make the most of it. I'll get my kit out, show you what I used last night, and we can take it from there. So I'll get back to you once I've got things spread out a bit, once I've got things sorted up. I'm out here now, so I'll show you the kit. You'll hear all the rest of the birds around. Take this off. There's just further on there, I just had a little bit of a walk down, and the view's phenomenal. I'll show you it later, but the view is absolutely beautiful down there. You might get, I like the view in this area. Now, to start off with, okay, we're allowed certain items. We're allowed a cutting tool, you're allowed one sheet for cover, you're allowed a bedding item, a container, and as much cordage as you wanted, along with a ferrocium rod as well. So, first off, I've got my first aid kit, okay. Thankfully I didn't need that, but I do have it there. This is my cover. Now this is a poncho. Now if it started raining or whatever, then I could put this over the top of me, keep myself dry, make a shelter with it if I really needed to, clip it together, make a bivy bag out of it. Very versatile, a number of uses for that, so that's why I've got that with me. However, I didn't use it. I've got amounts of cordage, okay, along with the cordage I've got wrapped around the bag itself. Again, didn't use any of that, the only stuff I used was the stuff that's on the bag. I've got a knife, okay, this knife I used a lot. It's sharp, it does its job, it cut most of the ferns that I used, chopped up the firewood, got my wood from a shelter, all that came from this knife. On the back of it, although I didn't use it, I've got a little pocket here for a sharpening stone to go into. So that's my cutting tool. Then I've got my pot. Now I keep my pot inside this bag because it goes in the fire and I don't want it to get everything else dirty. That's the only reason for the bag. It doesn't get used for anything else on this trip. If I was out normally, I would use it for gathering wild stuff in. There's my pot. As you can see, it's covered in bits, well used, it's all black. It's just a Swedish Army Trangia. This is the aluminium one. I've got a stainless steel one in the house, but only needed the aluminium one for this trip. Nice and lightweight, nice deep pot, hanging handle with it as well, frying pan stroke lid, and you've got the capability of hanging it up over a fire. So very versatile, very handy to have. Yep. When I came here, this was a midge free environment. Now they're out in force again. I think what I'll do, once I've shown you this, I'll put this kit back in the car and I'll do a quick walk around, show you some plants and things that I would normally eat if I was out, and we can take it all from that. So that's my pot. So we've got container, my cutting tool, my cover and my cordage so far, and then more cordage. Inside here I've got what I did use last night in the end up to try and keep myself warm, but it got pretty cold. I've got a wool blanket. Okay, I just wrapped that around me, climb inside my shelter with the fire going, and it kept me warm enough. The only thing that got me in the end up was the midges. They were far worse than they are now. I was opening my mouth and I was choking on them. They were miserable. So as I said earlier, my lesson learned on this trip is never forget your midge net. Definitely don't forget the midge net. If you get anything else, don't forget the midge net. And this bag that I used to carry everything in, I would normally bring a rucksack with me, but because I was only able to bring one bag, I chose this. Dry bags are something that a lot of people tend to overlook. They think that it keeps their stuff clean and dry when they're out, but forget that that same property enables them to use it for survival as well. You can use it for carrying water like I have done. Put your kit inside it, wrap it all up, do a river crossing if you have to. Generally I'll take a 110 litre dry bag with me, or something bigger than that if I can, even if it's only in a 46 litre bag, because if I get stuck 110 litres, I can climb inside that and stay dry. Now I should hasten to add that all through this video, or the parts of the video, I've mentioned about different plants. I'm not teaching you about the plants, I'm not teaching you how to identify the plants. All I'm doing is sharing information that I have. If you do want to go out and have a look at plants and pick plants regardless what the plant is, go and see a qualified expert, get trained up properly, make sure you're 100% accurate of what you've picked. If not, the results could very well be fatal. I've got a plant here. Hopefully you can see the pink one just outside there. It's foxglove. Latin name contains the word digitalis, can't remember its full name. But digitalum is a medicine used in heart conditions. That's got the raw form of it. So just be careful when you're out and about. If you are looking through plants and things, make sure you're 100% accurate of what you're picking. I only pick things that I'm totally certain of. I've recently done a basic botany course where I've been learning to identify plants better. Still not fully there with identifying them all yet, but I'm hoping to identify an awful lot more of them. Once I've been able to identify the plants, I then look into what I can eat, what I can't eat, what the preparation methods are, all that kind of thing, and build my knowledge up gradually. But if you're going to do it, my advice, start at the bottom, learn to identify before you start eating. You don't want to pick the wrong one, and there are so many other plants out there that look very similar to one another. As I've learned on the course as well, there's not just one species or one type of any one species of plant. Some plants you can eat one particular variety, you can't eat another. But they're both the same family, they're both the same name, so same basic name, the same genus. But you do have to be 100% accurate of what you're looking at and what you're picking. So that's my only concern with all of this. Okay, just make sure you're okay. I've just stopped off a bit here. We've got quite a few plants down this section I can show you, all of which I can 100% positively identify and say that's exactly what these are. So I'll show you what we've got. Like I say, not eating any of them, but I'll show you what's here and we can go through it from that. Okay, so I'm just going to roughly point them out to you just now. Hopefully you'll be able to see it. Okay, they're all down in this kind of area here. And then I can bring the camera down a bit closer, let you see them a bit closer still. So this white one here, we've got some yarrow. Some young yarrow growing here as well, and down here. Yarrow itself can be used to thicken up stews and things. Use the leaves for that. You can also use the leaf for cleaning out a wound because it's very kind of feathery. If I break one off, you can see that there. It's very feathery, very easy for breaking things off. It's got a pretty strong flavour though, but it's good for that kind of thing. Another plant that we've got down here is just inside here. Okay. Don't know whether you can see this one or not, but this is raspberry. It's a very, very young raspberry plant. You can see I'll bring the camera down a bit closer so we can take some photographs as well and let you see it properly. Beyond that, just in the back here, we've got what's commonly known around here as sticky willies or goosegrass. It's also called cleavers. It's got several different names, but this is where some of the inspiration for Velcro came from. This and burdock. What this is little hooks that attach onto anything. This particular plant here, if you get the young shoots, boil them right down. You've got to boil it to death because this is full of fibres and stringy bits and everything else, and it makes a very nice meal. But not something you can eat just straight from the root, from the grass side. You've got to prepare it first, which means boiling it right down, almost to the point where it forms a paste, and then it can be eaten at that stage. And it actually isn't too bad with a little bit of butter on it. Really nice. Beyond that, I'll pick one of these leaves out. I've got this plant here. Okay, now let me just put the camera down. This plant here. This plant's got a split base here. Hopefully you can see that, and a long leaf there. It grows in a rosette in its first year, and then it starts to spike up, and you get little red flowers on it. This is called common sorrel. There's several different types of sorrel around here. My battery's about to die, but there's several different types of sorrel around. There's three that I know about. There's common sorrel, which is this one. There's sheep sorrel, and there's wood sorrel. They all have the same kind of properties to them. Have them in small amounts though. They contain an acid that can give you stomach ulcers if you have it in mass amounts. So, like everything from the wild, small doses, and you'll do a lot better from it. Our system just isn't used to eating it. But I'm afraid I'm going to have to cut this video short now. My battery is just about to die, so I'll have to go back home again now, cut everything short, and hopefully I've got enough footage here to get everything sorted out. So, NoBSSurvival, thank you very much for the challenge. It's been an enjoyable trip out, trying to get it sorted out with you. Hopefully, as I say, with not being able to eat the products, that I'll be able to still enter in, and hopefully a few more people will be entering for you as well. It'd be a shame to see that challenge go to just a few. So hopefully there's a lot more people will be entering that for you. But see you all later on, and this is me finishing it all off.